Recently, a friend sent me this JavaScript snippet, wondering why it didn't work. I think this is representative of a mistake that I've seen her make repeatedly recently, and I'm starting to think that it reveals a deeper misunderstanding of what functions are and how we can combine them. In general, there are two reasons for why we'd want to call a function. Either we want to know something, such as, say, calculating the sum of two numbers, or we want to know the height of Mount Everest, or we want to have an effect on the outside world, such as announcing our breaking new redefinition of what a second is. Now, these are not exclusive. For example, we might want to read the last piece of news again. We do it because we want to, well, know what happened, but it also has the implied effect of causing our storage device to perform a physical action of reading the storage. If you have a magnetic hard drive, you might even hear it happening. Well, you would have if you weren't listening to my annoying voice. Another way to see that this function is effectful is that the value depends on the order of a function call. So if you interleave it with broadcast announcement, the value that you get back changes. Now, when trying to understand what a more complex program does, it can be useful to think of it as a graph, where we get a piece of data, transform it in some way, maybe we combine it with some other data, and then finally we use it to cause an effect. For example, if we take the following piece of code, then we could graphify it like this. Now, let's say this wasn't enough. We didn't get the retention, and so we need to try again. Now, this time, let's turn the message all caps to further highlight the importance of a message. We can look in the graph for where it would make sense to put our new transformation. And then now that we have a new graph, we can translate it back into code. Now, where do methods and objects play into this? Well, methods basically behave like regular functions, except they have an invisible this argument that is located outside the function call itself, and that the same name can be bound to different functions for different objects. These invocations are equivalent, and I'll treat them as such in this video. Now, let's try applying this by going back to the first example again. The code doesn't work right now, but we can still try to understand the intentions behind it. From what I can tell, we want to take some decimal number, round it to the nearest integer, and then show it in a HTML element on the web page. So let's graph that. Now that we have a more formal understanding of what we want to do, we can then follow the previous examples and translate that back into JavaScript. And if we try to run that, we can see that yes, it does indeed work now.